Welcome to the session on how to add a project in Webmo. First of all, congratulations. Of course, it's always good to win a project and then, of course, implement the project. This is the first step, so congrats for that. And now we'll get to the business, so to say, and prepare everything to monitor that project in a good way. Well, for this we have Webmo, which is a platform that is both valuable for the project management itself, as well as monitoring and reporting. That said, let's dive into how to add a project and set up a project. You arrive at the landing page and see this great button here, Add Project. We will click on that, and then it opens a page. It creates, so to say, the project in the database that is behind the platform. Here you see the project key data form, where you have to add the information that is most likely in your proposal. I have prepared that here. So this is my proposal. We won, and we were lucky to get a proposal from BMZ, project from BMZ. And as the project starts in 2 days, it's time to set up the project. We add here a project short name, set it to, well, it starts in 2 days. I would say set it to ongoing. The start date is on the 15th, and the end date is on the 14th of November 2029. Project number is not yet given, but keep in mind it will always be a number from DAWI and not the project number from BMZ. So something like 1782501, for example. For the purpose of this little training, I will just add 0 zeros. The project number is your unique identifier. So later on, based on this this number, the projects can be analyzed more deeply, so to say. Or let's say all of the global key indicators that we will add later come in to this big overview table based on the project number, which serves as unique identifier. Then we have the budget here. For this, I will open the part 1 document. Give me a second, I have prepared it. It is in another document. And this is a big project with over 1 million of volume in euros. Impact of the project is, you can copy that based on from your log frame. So the overall objective, just copy paste that. Project relevance needs approach and intended change. Normally you can also copy paste that from your proposal. It's always also good to shorten it a bit because it is just a lot of information. So yeah, see that it's not too much that you write in these sections. Short summary of the project, I have also prepared that from another document. I will copy and paste it here. And the project is about gender-based violence. This is just a formatting. I can add here a project picture. Unfortunately, I still don't have one, so I will skip that. Risks and assumptions. We also have a section on risks and assumptions in the proposals, so I can copy and paste it from here as well. Need for action, unsure, that's the default. I would say we can leave it here for now. And the target group is written here. It's women at risk, survivors, gender-based violence, and women with disabilities, community activists, so community members, GBV protection committees, as well as, again, community workers, female household members. So I will add those women, persons with disability, household members, organizations of people affected by community members, and health professionals. For this, you click on it and press STRL so that you can multi-select. The indirect target group, I would say also the community members, as well as men, children. Here, the direct target group is also migrants and refugees. The project is implemented in a settlement. Then the selection criteria, they are also mostly written in there. It's always good to shorten it a bit so that we have not only, so that it's crisp, so to say. So I will say, okay, the participants are between 25 and 44. They have different needs according to age groups. Well, we leave it for here for now. Then country, it is Uganda. And the locality is in the districts of Kububu, Terigo, and Madiokolo, in West Nile region. So I will put here West Nile. The project is funded by BMZ and co-funded by DAWI, and the implementing partner is UCMB. The list is quite long, and sometimes you will not find the organization you are looking for. Then you have to add the different organizations. We'll get to that just now. So someone can help me? Where is well, it seems like I have to add it. We'll get there later. Project manager, accountant is so far not known. Project quality management will look differently than what we have here due to the restructuring process. This is a project covering mostly women with disabilities. It's a gender-based violence project, so it will be here under, it comes under CBI disability inclusion. It addresses poverty, good health and well-being, gender equality, reduce inequalities, with quality education. So having filled out this project sheet, you can click Save, and your project is created. Here it is. You see it's quite long, but you could easily also shorten it. Then this is your project site. Here you see different tabs, and especially the log frame tag needs to be filled as well. Before doing so, I want to have a quick look on my how-to Webmo cheat sheet, so to say, which helps me to verify that I have added everything. So it says here, in order to add your project, press the button Add, and then a project sheet or a window will open. We have done that. We have entered the impact, we have entered the project key data. The project number, which is the WinPAX number, still needs to be updated. We have added the location. The implementing party needs to be added. That is still missing. And here is the explanation how to add a stakeholder. We will do so just now. We have entered the target groups, so direct, indirect target group, by pressing CTRL and clicking on the different target groups. And we are still waiting for the project management responsibilities. This happens, sometimes you don't have all the information available. We have added the risks and assumptions, the tagging, which are the mandates. It is also best here to just click one or two mandate areas. So if you have a 2 million project and just 5,000 euros are pledged for research, it is not a research project. Yeah, and then we click Save. Great, we have done most of it. So let us double check with the stakeholders. For the stakeholders, you can click here on the left bar. And here are most of the stakeholders included, and sometimes there are also some missing. This is what we do once in a while. Not all the time, but in some instances, there is an institution missing when you are working with a new partner, for example. So for this, you add to add one, you add here an organization. So this is implemented by UCMB, the Uganda Episcopal Conference, or better said, Uganda Catholic Medical Bureau, UCMB. It is a non-local NGO, and it is in Uganda located. If you have, of course, more information, email address, contact person, field of work can be added, and also the logo can be added, which is always nice, so that it's more, yeah, so that looks nicer. For now, we click Save. we go back to our landing page. So to find our project, normally so far currently there are the last project that gets added is the one last in the list. So it is here. You can also find your projects, of course, through using the map. But then again, this takes also time. And another way how to find your projects is to go through the country. So if you click here on Uganda, for example, where the project is implemented, then you find all of the projects that are implemented in Uganda, including the one we are currently setting up. So here it is. Looks nice and neat. We have to add the implementing party. What happens, and that is still a bug, is that once you change the project sheet again, then your target group, direct target group, it kind of disappears. So you have to, it does not save, which is a little inconvenient. So you have to select it again. And now implementing party, we find here Uganda Catholic Medical Bureau, UCMB in the list. We click save. You saw how we added? I'll show you again. So up here is a little button, edit, and once you edit, once you click on there, you can change most of the information that is in here. Well, so far so good. Let's go to the log frame. You see here already the impact. This is from the project sheet. But now we also want to add all of the other outcomes, outputs, indicators, as well as activity. For this, click Add Outcome, and then we'll copy, paste. So this is quite a long outcome. Let's see if we can shorten that. Here is a short name, and best case, you also keep it short so that you know what the core of the objective description is. For the purpose of this, I will just keep it for now blank. Reference ID is also a unique identifier for this outcome. I usually use OU out for outcome 1 for the first one, and then OUT for the outputs. Start and end date. It's usually for the outcomes, the whole project duration. Responsible. So far, there are no responsibles allocated, but it's always good to also see who is responsible for what and add it here. Well, with this information, we create that outcome. Okay, that is invalid. Let's see. I assume it's just too long. So we'll shorten. Et voilà. So you see here is your short name, and here is the detailed description. So it's not necessary to have both here and here the long description. So now we have our first outcome. With this come also some indicators. For this, we add outcome indicator. So for beam set, what I usually do is write here baseline and then target, and copy the full description in here so that no information gets lost. So in this indicator, we already have kind of the issue that there are multiple informations, so to say, and multiple things that are measured, which makes it a bit complicated to add it in Webmo. So you have to find a way around. One proposition that I would do now for this outcome indicator is to split it up in 3, because it is very difficult to still keep it in mind. Usually you think, here is one indicator, it just contains one information, I will just measure one information, and then at the end there are multiple informations basically in there, and you forgot to measure the other data. So here I would say that is our 1.1a. Short name GBV recorded. Type of indicator. So responsible again, it would be nice to add one here. Type of indicator. On outcome level, we have 2 types of indicators, baseline target current and a milestone indicator. In this case, or let's say in 90% of the cases, we use baseline target current indicators, which mean quantifying the indicators. So we'll put that here as well, because we speak about quantifying things. What I would recommend as well is to put the number on, not the percentage. We have numbers here. Of course, the 33% are mentioned in the indicator, but I would always recommend to put the number here. Why? The system itself will calculate your percentage, and then we don't have mistakes here. So the baseline would be here 2055, and the target 4360. The percentage that gets now calculated, yeah, I will just keep it like that for now. Current progress description can be updated once there is a reporting deadline, for example, and then upcoming measurement date. We can put end of the year, measurement interval annually, and the source of verification will most likely be reports, stigma assessment, the reports, GBV. Description of risks, probably here. Yeah, which is not more specified, but most likely that survivors don't disclose and don't share, don't report UAP because of fear. So now we have added one outcome indicator. That was the first part. To complete, I will put two more. So one on the stigmatization and one on the advocacy measures. To have it all in there. So it's also okay if you see in the log frame that has been sent to the donor and is part of the contract, you see an indicator like that. In Webmo, we can also split it up to be very sure that every information is measured. But for now, we leave it like that. Let's add an output, which in the Bengo jargon is a sub-target. So I'll put here again the description, awareness. This is the awareness of gender equality and GBV improved. To keep it short and crisp, it would be out 1. Start date is again project start. And then I'll put the project end. Here you can add also the location. You can add also locations. So let's try if that works out. We can put Madi Okolo. Hope I wrote it correct. And then we could add Uganda and Terego. We could add again Uganda and Kuruko. We can add here responsible, description of risks, and the global key indicators. Here we do not necessarily work on our core mandate. However, here we talk about awareness raising. So I know I can choose this one. Individuals reached through IEC SPCC interventions as a global key indicator. The global key indicators are for us a way to see how the projects contribute to our global key indicators, which is why we have them here. It says it is not created yet. To create global key indicators, we have to go in here. Here's a list of all the global key indicators that we have defined jointly. You see here global key indicator 7, and you click on the plus. Here, for now, for the start of the project, I have not anything to report, so I'm just adding this data set. I know that the target will be 6,288 women, as well as 171 local actors. So that will be my target group, which is overall 6,399 is the target. My baseline is 0, and here you can specify with what type of medium you have reached the specific target groups, female, male, and diverse population. So you save here. And once we go back, now you see it's blue. There's a link. This page has been created. And now you see here it is created and displays this bar. Okay, now we have created the output and a global key indicator. we want to add an output indicator by clicking here. Let's write again, baseline, target. So here we talk about leaders that know now about prevention options, as well as they are establishing support networks after completing the SASA training. So it's again true information, but let's see. I think the focus was on as it's measured with a pre and post test. It's leaders' knowledge on gender-based violence. We'll write out 1.1, for example, because it's output 1 and it's the first indicator. We'll allocate someone who's responsible. Deadline is again at the end of the project. Now we have 3 different types of indicators: activity indicator, baseline, target, current, and milestone. The activity indicator is new. If you would click activity indicator, that means that when you later on we add activities, and when you update your activities, it automatically updates your indicator. It can also be that the activity indicator is dependent on 3 different activities. Then it would be the average here that is displayed as progress. Then the milestone indicators, I can show you. So yeah, when you click activity indicator, nothing happens. You have to add that later once you have created activities. The milestone indicator is more a qualitative indicator type, where you can add different steps. For example, mapping. Baseline is that no mapping was done. Then you can add different milestones. For example, a data analyst was hired. That means that you have achieved 5% of your progress. You can add the target date. So that was supposed to happen until end of November, but and then you can later on, when you update the indicator, say when you have achieved which milestone. And the target, would be mapping is done. And that would be the 100%. But for this indicator, we again choose baseline, target, current. We have here numbers. So we choose number. We could also disaggregate into classes by saying yes. Classes would mean one class idea. So you can say, for example, sex and say female, male. That is one idea. But you could not really use 2 categories or 2 classes. That would make it a bit more complicated. For example, well, you want to know the females and the people that live in a rural site. These are 2 different information types, 2 different classes. And here we can just split into 1, or use 1 subclass to disaggregate into 1 additional category. So for example, sex or region, you could say in Koboko, Teru, and Mariokolo, you want to reach a different subset of numbers. Here it's not specified, it's just leaders. It's not specified how many women, how many men. Baseline is set to be 18 and the target is 135. Upcoming measurement date for BeamSet projects is usually end of the year. So I put that, it will be measured annually or anything else. in between, pre-post training, training report. And here, the more information that you feed in, the better it is for others to understand what you are planning to do. Now, if there is error, you will, and you cannot say, it will show you. Let's see what I did wrong. I actually don't know what I did wrong. I deleted the classes. Well, not my fault. That is a bug, I would say. Okay, here we are. So now you see here leaders knowledge on GVV. There is a bar. Once you add that data, then it shows the progress and directly calculates the progress. So when you set it up, you have to do so. You have to add the different outputs and the indicators in the same way. And then you also add the different activities. For this, you click on Add Activity. Here it's conducting SASA training and identifying community activists per district. That's short enough. Let's say activity 1.1. The status is planned. I mean, the project has not yet started. Here we talk about the first project year. I would assume it is meant to be 2025. So again, here we would need to talk with our project team, because as there are no X's, so to say, nothing marked, I would ask myself, okay, what is happening in the first half of the year? But okay, for the purpose of this little video, we will add this training to happen, like it says, in the second half of the year. The project starts on the 15th of November. So that means December, January, February, March, April, May. It will start May 15th and is supposed to happen half a year. So that's one too far. Gone. 15th of December. Normally, there will be a more specific planning. I will show you how it can be done as well later on. If this activity would fuel into an activity indicator, you could choose here the activity indicators that you have created. So far, we have not created an activity indicator, which is why you cannot choose it here. Also here, it would be great to add someone as responsible for this activity. It can be project team members who lead the implementation of this activity. Now we'll click Save. Let's look at the second activity, development and distribution of gender-sensitive educational material. We'll again click Add Activity. Reference ID A1.2. status again planned. And now we'll see that it's always supposed to happen either after half a year or after 9 months. Then start date would be the last quarter of next year. And then the planned end date, just gonna put now something. This will need to be reworked again. And then we have reoccurrent dates. So we click yes. If we click yes, then it is mandatory to fill out here, to go to this tab and add activity dates. So you can be very specific and say, okay, the first bunch of activity will be implemented start from October 2026 until December 2026. Stated as planned. Of course, we talk about the future, and then you add activity dates, and you add that this will happen in the third quarter of 2027. So starting July, ending in September, for example. Stated is also planned. So for reoccurring dates, you can add different activity dates. You can save. And then we have it here. If you click on it, you can see that this activity is split down into two different sub-activities, all planned. What is also very, very cool to do, especially when you have done a more detailed planning, it is good to work with tasks. Just for the matter of this webinar, we said development and distribution of gender sensitive education material. So most likely we'll start with maybe for example, identify graphic designer, who is responsible. So I'll put Robbie as responsible. Status is planned. The start would be somewhere in October 2026. He has what is task 2 weeks time. Then we add another description, another task, development of the GBV educational materials. Status is planned. This will happen after we have hired the designer, end of October 2026. We think it also takes two weeks time, and so on and so forth. You can add another task, such as testing of GBV material. Status is planned. We will do so the full November. We will test. The material will be used on the 8th of November, of March, for example. And then we'll click save. So this function, and then you see here different tasks. You could allocate responsibilities. see the status, you see also the description of what has been, what should be done, and you can split down, so to say, your little sub activities that contribute to the achievement of the big activity. So let's see how it looks like. We have the project sheet. With a lot of information. We have now added the log frame. And we can see now in the activity timeline, the activities that we have added. And of course, the more we will add here, the more colorful and also full becomes the list. For now, I would say we're good to go and set up a log frame. Let us quickly check if we have done anything. Here you find how to for log frame and indicators to read through it, how to add outcomes, outputs and respective indicators, as well as the activities. It is all explained here. The different indicator types. So on outcome level again, we have baseline current, target current indicators, and milestone indicators. On output level, we have also activity indicators. The activity indicators are linked with in activities themselves. So in an activity, you would allocate, so to say, the activity to an indicator after having created activity itself. And then we have the global key indicators that are important for us to see how all the projects contribute to those global overarching indicators. And you create them by selecting them first when creating an outcome or output, and then you go to the GKI tab to create the indicator by clicking on the plus. Yeah, and activities are also important to add. Here you again have the key data. When you want to add reoccurrent dates, you have to check off the bug, tick off the bug box, so to say, and then add activity data in the subsequent tab. And the tasks are also quite practical to further detail down the activities once they are more specified and more planned. With this, I would say you're good to go to add your first project. And if you have any questions, consult first the different how-to sheets on the project sheet, on log frame and indicators, as well as the activities. And if there are still any doubts, please reach out. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.